Some hate it, they won't like my opinion. They say it's overrated. Now choose 1 through 10, or it's A to Z. You good on any list, long as it come from me. This is a disclaimer and not a guarantee. My highly rated opinion make perfect sense to me. It's the perfect sense, the perfect sense. My highly rated opinion make perfect sense to me.
All right. Welcome to Perfect Sense. We all know who I am. I am the host. I'm Twan. For those of you who have not been here before, thank you for joining us. Please subscribe. This is brought to you by Frisbee TV. For those of you who have been here before, we appreciate you for coming back. And we're gonna go ahead and get into it. We know that fragrance is a hobby of mine. And we know that the fall seasons are coming up and that summer is essentially over. Kids are back in school, so you can send them off on their way. And you know it's a celebratory time for me because I got 2 off to college, actually 3 off to college this year. And it was a lot of hard work, but guess what? We here now. So I want to talk to you guys about presenting yourself to someone through the world of fragrance. I want to talk to you guys about some of the things that I consider fall fragrances. Now, when it comes to fragrances, a lot of people like to group fragrances together for different seasons. They might say, okay, well, for the hot seasons, for spring and summer, you can wear this. Or for spring and fall, you can wear this. Or for fall and winter, you can wear this. And that's all true. Everything they're telling you is true. You do have fragrances. Some are all year round. Some can be worn for different seasons. But I like to specify or be more specific with my fragrances. Only reason I do that is because of performance issues. In different weather, the fragrances perform a little differently. So meaning if you have a light, airy fragrance, it's not gonna perform as good in the winter months. If you have a heavy fragrance, it's not gonna perform good in the heated months. You're going to hurt somebody. If you come out there and you're sweating and that fragrance is heavy and it's just protruding off your skin and it's mixing with your BO and the things ain't right, man, help you. Hope someone help you. But look, I'm gonna go ahead and get into this list. The show is brought to you by and sponsored by Billion Brothers. You have quality, handcrafted leather bags, one for any occasion. I got one myself. And I'm gonna let you know which fragrances I think are not only fall, but some of these fragrances I like to call lady killers. Meaning that the ladies are gonna love it. And it is tried and tested because every one of the fragrances that I'm gonna tell you that the ladies love, my wife absolutely adores them. My wife is not. She doesn't like a lot of spice. She doesn't like an overly masculine fragrance. She goes for more of the sweet, slightly gourmand or the gentleman, maybe a fougere, things like that. But anything that I tell you is a lady killer, it's been tried and true. And I want you to stay tuned because at the end, I have a special fragrance that I want to introduce that I just introduced into my collection. But before we get into that, I'm gonna go ahead and tell you a quick story. Just the other day, I was shopping in the grocery store with my wife and there was a mom and a son. And I layer fragrances. Everybody layer fragrances, especially if you're into the fragrances and you know what goes good, what's a nice base and longevity and what would go good with your chemistry. I'm walking through the grocery store. This woman comes to me and my wife. She grabs the cart. She grabs the cart. She asked me, did I speak Spanish? I told her I did not speak Spanish. And she says to me, what's your smell? So I show her instead of telling her what the smell was. Then she explains to me that her son, when I walked by him, her son grabbed her and said, Mommy, please ask him. So that was a different take on things. I never really had a young man. I mean, this young man had to be every bit of 10 or 12, between the ages of 10 or 12. I mean, he could have been a little bit older, but I've never really had a kid ask their mom to ask me what I was wearing. But that just shows to prove that when you take up a hobby and you like what you do, that you can do something and actually put an impression on someone. And for the record, I didn't really need them to compliment me. Didn't need nobody to compliment me. I knew I smelled good. So we're gonna go ahead and get into these fragrances. So the first fragrance that I'm gonna present you guys with is going to be Dior Homme 2020. This is the 2020 version, the new formulation. They took the iris out of this one, but this one here, at first, because they took the iris out, it got heavily judged. So this is the bottle. It got heavily judged by people who are used to having that iris and that Dior Homme 2020. But I like what they did. What they did was they dialed the iris back in this fragrance so they can give you a more spicy version. So for this version, oh man, it has that spice. It's a little peppery and it lasts. I'm gonna tell you it lasts. I wore this to a studio session and I was told that I smelled nice by a friend. But this smells really, really good. I mean, I've had multiple people compliment me on this. Now, it's not gonna last tremendously long. I think this one is great for the fall, specifically because the heat kills this thing. If you wear this in the hot heat, it's only gonna last you probably about 3 or 4 hours. But if you wear it in that mid-range, maybe 60s, 50s, light 70s, this thing will project, it will carry with the wind, and it will go great with your body chemistry. It lasts a little bit longer. And also it is great for layering with a nice plain lotion. It'll help you last a little bit longer. So they took the iris out. They did something beautiful with it. They made a nice peppery fragrance. And I love this fragrance right here. Dior Homme 2020. This is what I consider a dumb reach. The next fragrance in the same house is Dior Homme Intense. Now, that iris note that I was talking about in that Dior Homme 2020 is here, okay? So instead of having two fragrances that mimic each other, that follow each other exactly to suit, what they did was smart. They keep the same fragrances on the market, they take a note out so that they can create a different fragrance, and now you're forced to buy two instead of one. It's just marketing. It's just marketing. So what I'm gonna say about this fragrance right here, oh man, this is good. That powdery iris. Now some people don't like powdery, but I like that out of the shower smell, fresh smell. I'm talking about walking around smelling like a brand new baby, and my wife absolutely loves this. This to me is a lady killer. Ladies love powdery. You will not be disappointed with this fragrance. So this is a great fragrance for the fall. It carries great in the air. Dior Homme Intense. So this next fragrance that I'm gonna talk about is Givenchy Gentleman Privé. Now this fragrance here, oh man, this fragrance, it's dark, it's resinous, it's very gentleman-like. Maybe some coffee. I mean, it's a Privé. What more can I say? This is for a grown man. This is not for a little boy trying to play grown. This is for a grown man. This smells really, really sophisticated. Maybe some chocolate in there. Something's giving it a chocolatey feel, but this right here is not to be played with. This is a lady killer. This is a lady killer right here. This is for grown men. And I mean, it says Gentleman Privé. Well, it doesn't say Privé on it, but this is Privé. But the Gentleman line, got to get with it, man. It's beautiful. But I have another one from that line that I'm going to introduce you guys to before I take the bottles away. And this one is Givenchy Gentleman, well, Givenchy Society is what this one's called. And this is sweet. This is sweet. This is really, really, I want to say sophisticated. A sophisticated, sweet fragrance that to me is a lady killer, but it's a date night fragrance. I think this one will kill them in the fall time. It's strong enough to be carried by the wind. It is not nuclear, but I've worn this before, and it lasts about a good 6.5 hours. Then you may have to respray, or depending on what you spray or what time of the year it is, you put it directly on skin or you put it on your clothing, and you got to make sure, because each one of these They have dark colorations. You got to know what you're spraying it on. If you're going to go with clothing, then you got to have something that can handle being sprayed by a dark fragrance. But each one of these are lady killers. This one right here is more gentleman-like. Maybe, you know, fougere, chocolatey, maybe a little bit of leather, maybe some tonka in here. It's wonderful. And this one right here is a more sweet take on things, you know. So, you know, women like sweet smells, and it's not over sweet. It's not bubblegummy sweet. It's just slightly sweet, and it's not a candy sweet. I can't really explain the sweetness, but what I can say to you is you won't be disappointed. So this one right here is near and dear to my heart. You may think that this is YSLY, but this is YSLY Live. This is a discontinued fragrance. I do have backup bottles of this, but out of all the YSLY that I have, my wife fell in love with this one especially. It's a little sweeter than the EDP, than the Parfum. It still has that sophisticated YSLY DNA, but it has a sweet take on it. So the YSLY Parfum, if sprayed in close quarters, can be a bit nauseating in the beginning just because of how strong it is. There's no sweetness to cut that, I'm not gonna say overpowering, but it can be overpowering smell. But this right here is like the perfect balance of sweet. It just doesn't give much to the imagination. It's very, very linear, meaning that it does not lose the sweetness. It keeps its integrity throughout the entire fragrance. Yeah, so you can wear this one business, pleasure, whatever you choose. But if you wear it, you're gonna know that you're gonna attract some attention, because this also is a lady killer, and I have its predecessor. This is the YSLY Parfum. Now this one is a little bit more expensive. I got a bigger bottle in this one. When it first came out, now this has that YSLY DNA. We all know about that YSLY DNA. Slight bubble gumminess, but not sweet. And this one is sweet, this one is not. Both of these are sophisticated, but this one is more business. This one is business and pleasure. So this one is attraction. This one is I'm the boss. I have one more for you though. One more in the YSL line. As you can see, they killing the game. This is brand new. This came out, I would say, maybe 3 weeks ago, if that. And this one is YSL Myself. Imagine you taking YSL and you taking Invictus Aqua and putting them two together. We all know Invictus Aqua has a bubblegummy sweetness. So whereas this doesn't have a bubblegummy sweetness, it just has a sweetness. This one has a bubblegummy sweetness. So you have that same DNA where you can go from the office to play, but it's not challenging at all. It has a great dry down, and it smells just like Invictus Aqua and YSLY had a baby. I recommend getting this just because it's a dumb reach. I actually like the bottle. They did something different. That bottle is actually elongated and it's just tall, it's slim. I opted for the 1.3 ounce, but it comes in 1.7 and also 3.3. But yeah, and this is a Eau de Parfum. This one here is a Parfum, and this one here is a Eau de Toilette. So that's gonna be those three for the YSL brand. And I said that I had something special for you guys, but I have one more before I get to that special one, and I'm gonna get it right now. Now, everything I've been talking about has been designer. I'm gonna go into the niche field. And the difference between designer and niche, designers don't make their own perfumes. So you may go to Lancome, you may go to L'Oreal, different types of brands that produce and manufacture colognes and perfumes and scents or products and things like that. Niche brands produce their own, and they only focus on fragrances. So I'm gonna introduce you to the house of Rosendo Matu number 5. This is number 5. Rosendo Matu has, I don't know, I think it's about 7 or 8 different fragrances, maybe 7 different fragrances. But number 5, I took on the recommendation of someone that I look at their reviews and see that they recommended this fragrance. And it's something about an amber fragrance to me. This is a floral amber. Oh man, this thing is sweet, it's special. You are not gonna be disappointed with this. This is not everybody's taste, right? It's not everybody's taste. But the florals in this and the amber in this go so good together. They give you like say if you had a sticky candy flower, something like that. You could actually use this in a business setting. I think this is a suit, dressed up. This is a good time out. And this will play good in the wind. Now I haven't worn it much, I wore it one time. But I think this would be good out there in the wind. The wind would take this thing and oh man, you would have the ladies just asking you, where and what are you wearing? Where did you get it? I think this is a win for everybody. Rosendo Matu number 5. It is special, special, special. So that's the niche brand. So I have one more thing to introduce you guys to. And the thing that I'm gonna introduce you guys to, I just added to my collection. You see the box? This is an extrait de parfum. You see the box? This is Tiziana Terenzi Chimera. I just added this to my collection and I was not disappointed at all. I was not disappointed at all. Now I'm gonna say that Tiziana, I haven't had much time with this fragrance, but I just wanted to introduce you guys to it. This is the actual fragrance and this is how it comes. That's beautiful. That's gorgeous. So as far as the presentation is concerned, the presentation is on par, man. It's on par and you can see the 2023, it gives me the year. And as I pull the fragrance out, and it comes with history books and instructions and all those kind of things. And it comes with this light that shines down on the fragrance, but we're not gonna let that run out. As far as the note breakdown on this is concerned, I'm gonna actually read you guys the note breakdown from this here fragrance, just because I want you to know how complex this fragrance is. Now I did spray it on, I haven't had a chance because I don't think this is the kind of fragrance that you need to wear to the grocery store. This is a special fragrance, so I haven't had the opportunity, I just got it, haven't had the opportunity to fully wear it. So for the main accords, it's gonna be warm, spicy, amber, sweet, aromatic, balsamic, tobacco, leather, fresh, spicy, woody, oud. So all those are the descriptive notes or what you're gonna get from this fragrance. But let me give you the top, the mid, and the base. So as far as Fragrantica is concerned, the top notes is black pepper, lemon, saffron, red earth, white leather, hydrogen, tula balm, thyme, and bay leaf. The middle notes are irid, pimento, red pepper, carnation flower, peony, perfect flower, honey, black magnolia, sage, and incense. And the base notes are patchouli, cashmere, cis, labdanum, benjamin, caramel, argarwood, tobacco, capodia balsam, leather, and pine wood. And when I tell you, when I sprayed this, it took me through all of those blends. It took me all the way through it. It is a complex fragrance, but it has a great composition. From that opening to that mid to that dry down. When you get to that dry down, it has a cashmeric, leather, warm, spicy smell that is like no other. If you like initios and you like, I'm gonna say, different niche fragrances that have authentic ingredients, non-synthetic, a little gourmand, a little spicy, and it smells of high quality. All right, so that's Chimera. That's what I had special. That's adding to my actual collection. Do not blind buy this like I did, but I do endorse this. I like this. So I'm gonna go ahead and put her back inside of her case. And I'm gonna get out of here. So I want y'all to stay blessed, be less stressed, and let God do the rest. Have a good one.
Sound of this beat is so profound to me. It's so soulfully sold, so undoubtedly. He gave me these shoulders to put the world on them. Yeah, my kids on this rock, man, so I can hold them. God gave me these eyes so I can see the vision. Equip me with all the right tools so I keep winning. Keep fasting and praying. Now that's the key. Put your feet in the sand and take a walk with me. Highly blessed and highly favored, and some hate it. They won't like my opinion. They say it's overrated. Now choose 1 through 10, or it's A to Z. You good on any list, long as it comes from me. This is a disclaimer and not a guarantee. My highly rated opinion make perfect sense to me. It's the perfect sense, the perfect sense. My highly rated opinion make perfect sense to me.